3 weeks back, when we were shooting for episode 4, things were a lot different and the situations have changed rapidly. COVID, the second wave of COVID is on a rampage and we all need to be very careful. And it is these times we can show how united we are and how responsible we are. Depending on the situation you're in, either ask for help or be ready to help. If you need help, there are a lot of resources which will help you to be more physically and mentally strong. And if you're ready to help, let's all come together and feed and provide for the needy during this time of crisis. But before all of that, let us get vaccinated. Please go to cowin.gov.in and register yourself and get yourself vaccinated, because that is the only chance for you to save yourself from this pandemic. And also, I wanted to let you know that we would not be having an episode for Dev Talkies in the month of May owing to these situations. We will, hoping the situations get good by June, we will be doing another episode of Dev Talkies in the month of June, just before Trailer DX. Remember, we are all with you and we are one. Thank you. Hey Roshan, how are you?
I'm awesome, as always. How are you?
Wondering what you're doing here.
I am here today to talk to our Ohana.
Wow.
I have a small dedication to our Ohana. So,
Okay.
Firstly, congratulations, Kiran, for doing a great job at Dev Talkies. I think
Thank you.
that inspired me to bring this special piece to our Ohana, though we are spread across the world, across different regions. But I think this Salesforce Trailblazer community connects us to this beautiful bond and beautiful word called
Beautiful
Ohana.
family. Yeah.
So here's something which I wanted to present, and you see this is something similar to this is in a preparation to what I'm going to do now. So with your permission.
Absolutely. Please hit it.
We are a family, united by a dream, connected like a layer of stars spread across the sky. We soar through the clouds like a stream of blazing light. We are Ohana, we are one. Thank you so much, Kiran.
Wonderful job, Roshan. You're a rock star, man.
That's exactly why I was having this.
I love your shade.
But it was great to see you also on the guitar and make this song more beautiful. When did you learn to play this?
I tricked you. I was pretending.
It's my job to trick you because I was having the shades on, not you. But I think great job done there. Welcome everybody to the episode 4 of Dev Talkies. If you're surprised why I'm talking, because Kiran has tricked me, I've taken it over from Kiran. Today, as usual, we are into episode 4 and we are up with our 4 beautiful segments. We're going to start with What's in the News by Satya. We all love him for that. Then we have Aditya waiting for us with his technical tips. And then we have our special guest with some great interaction. And towards the end, we have the most famous of Dev Talkies, the game show and the awards that are going to be won by our special guest.
Yeah, thank you, Roshan, for being part of Dev Talkies. Guys, without further delay, let's go to Satya for What's in the News.
Hello everyone and welcome to What's in the News this month. First we'll cover the platform news and then we'll see what's coming up for the developers, along with the awesome work being done by the Trailblazers. Towards the end, we'll do a quick round of news items. It's really hot here. Summer is picking up. I need some cool features. Do you also need some cool features? Then you should definitely check the Summer 21 release dates. The Summer 21 release is packed with exciting new features for development on the Salesforce platform. You can sign up for the pre-release org, which is now available, and try the latest developer edition features. You can also preview the release notes to check the latest features. The release notes is also now available. If you haven't already joined the Release Readiness Trailblazers community group, it's time to join and interact with other Trailblazers who are buckling up for the release. Refresh your sandboxes by May 6th so that you can preview your sandboxes on May 7th. Don't forget to attend the Release Readiness Live between May 21st to May 28th. You can also check this blog for more information. All orgs will be in Summer 21 release by June 12th. I'll come up with some cool features in the next month's What's in the News. We all know that Apex testing is more important, whether it is to make sure that your code runs well or to check the code coverage. Have you ever felt that the code coverage results that are displayed on your terminal are more cluttered? Then you have a good news. The CLI commands are now revamped and it shows more clean and flexible results. The best part of writing tests is seeing them pass. And all too often, the scariest part of running tests is looking through the code coverage numbers. Can you imagine if there is a mismatch of code coverage data when you test it in Developer Console versus Visual Studio Code? This can lead to confusion. The latest changes to these CLI commands ensure that the code coverage results match with the code coverage calculated and seen during deployment. Let's see it in action. Here I am in the LWC recipes project on VS Code. Let's run the command sfdx force apex test run in the terminal. You can see that it has run the test and created a test run ID. You can see the test report here by copy pasting the command, or you can also store it in a file by specifying the directory. So let's copy paste the command. Now you can see a clean test summary. It doesn't show up unnecessary things like passed, failed, skipped, test start time, command time, etc. like earlier. In the test results, you can also see the test class names. With the -r flag, you can see the result in different formats like JSON, JUnit, human readable form, etc. The default is human readable form that you are currently seeing. Now let's run this command to see it in JSON format. You can also see the detailed code coverage using the -c flag. Let's add it and run it. If you see this Apex test class, it shows the code covered lines and uncovered lines. Note that you can run a test for class names, test suites, or independent tests. You can also check this blog to see how the commands are implemented and also the changes that you might see in the future. Imagine that you purchased a new bicycle and you got the confirmation email. What's the next step? You probably make a call to the call center to book an appointment for assembling and demo. Or maybe you visit the website and book the appointment. What if that feature is available right in your confirmation email? It's quite possible using the accelerated mobile pages, in short called as AMP, along with the Marketing Cloud. Do you want to see some examples? Then you should check this new sample app in the sample gallery. There is a new kit in the sample gallery. This app is called AMP Email Demos. It's a collection of interactive examples using AMP email for Salesforce Marketing Cloud. You can build a rich experience for email clients like Gmail and Verizon. Let's view the repository. You can either check out the code, or you can also check the examples deployed on Heroku by clicking this link. Here, you can see a collection of demos validated on AMP and Gmail playgrounds. Let's select an example. It opens in the AMP playground where you can see the AMP HTML code. You can select a device and see how it works. Here, you can see the email and book an appointment. You can find a lot of such examples in this sample app. So why wait? Get started. Are you a beginner and you want to get started with the Salesforce development? Then you should check out this new series on Salesforce Developer channel called Beginner's Mind. Beginner's Mind is a 5-part series that covers everything you need to know to get started with Salesforce development. This video covers an introduction to the Salesforce platform and shows how to create applications with low-code, to pro-code development capabilities of the platform. This video shows how you can unlock the developer productivity using Salesforce developer tools. This video shows how you can automate your business processes with and without code. This video shows you how you can build Lightning Web Components on and off the Salesforce platform. The final video will be covering API features and techniques to integrate with Salesforce Core, Heroku, MuleSoft, and third-party systems. Let's now look into some event news. I'm super excited to share that the registrations for Trailhead DX 21, the big technical conference, is now open. And the best part is you can register for free. Trailhead DX is the technical conference for everyone, the developers, admins, architects, partners, and IT leaders. You can learn all about product innovations, hear exciting announcements, see demos, and you can also be part of live Q&A with the experts. You can register for free by clicking this button, and you can learn, connect, have fun, and give back. It has 35 product demos, 27 content episodes, 25 expert-led rooms, and 5 broadcast channels. If you haven't already registered, register today. Now it's time for Community Focus. Today's Community Focus is all about a middle-class boy who grew from the customer support agent to Salesforce known personality. He started helping other trailblazers using his hashtags. He is none other than Akashdeep Arora. Akashdeep Arora has graduated in 2015. Started his career with BPO with a first salary check of Rs 9,091. Wait, it was bounced, but no worries. He fought against every odd and won. He never gave up. His goal is to be a Salesforce champ and make others a Salesforce champ. He started it all with a hashtag Making Champion by providing solutions to real-time tasks. Let's now hear from Akash on what was his motivation to start the #Be a Salesforce Champ initiative.
Hello Ohana, my name is Akashdeep Arora. I'm the founder of Be a Salesforce Champ initiative, which I started a couple of years back. The reason I started this campaign in order to motivate and help others who are unaware about Salesforce and are facing difficulties while starting their career. Because I felt the same when I started my journey with a lot of failures and struggles. With a proper path defined in this initiative, one can follow the same path to be a Salesforce champ, and at the same time, you need to help others as well. Currently, there are more than 10,000 people are connected with me over LinkedIn, and thousands of lives have been impacted in their career while following the same path and helping others as well with this initiative. If you would search hashtag Be a Salesforce Champ on LinkedIn, still there are more than 250 followers of this hashtag who are helping and learning with this initiative. It's for the community and by the community. And the most important thing, you don't need to be MVP or any group leader to help anyone. You just need to help in any way you can. And that's the goal, that you should be a Salesforce champ and make others as well.
Great job, Akash. No looking back. Keep going. Thanks for whatever you are doing for the trailblazers to achieve success. With that, let's wrap our news with a quick round of news items. Are you looking for a quick and easy way to get started with the rich set of Marketing Cloud APIs? Then you should check out this blog that introduces you to Postman and show you how to easily explore and test different Marketing Cloud APIs against multiple instances. This blog also covers a sample use case of creating an asset. The most requested Trailblazer community feature is here, introducing community in Trailhead Go. It is available now to both iOS and Android devices. You can access community groups, posts, likes, comments, users following, and more. You can network, collaborate, and connect with the global Trailblazer community from anywhere, right from your mobile device. Do you have questions on Salesforce developer tools and experiences? Then you can tune in to one of the Trailhead sessions of the product manager Nate Totten. You can also post your questions on live chat. You can now listen to Salesforce Developer Podcast from Ghana.com. That's all in today's news. Wear mask and stay safe. Let's meet in next episode.
Thank you, Satya. Let's all join together for the ultimate learning experience, Trailer DX, on June 23rd. A quiet, obedient, and a traditional girl whose life's path was already decided by her family. She went with the flow, studied well, worked hard, and left her first job to get married and settle down. There are few people who question the stereotype, rise, and lead the change. The most important question that she asked herself was, what next? And what she did after that was truly amazing. And she has never stopped from asking herself that question for the last 18 years because she rediscovered herself, grown as a leader, and impacted people's lives. Let's welcome Nalini Krishnan, Salesforce Competency Head at TCS, in our Spotlight segment. Hi Nalini, how are you?
Hi Kiran, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. Nalini, I think we have met 4 times in TCS. We were running these workshops, Salesforce days. All the 4 times we met, we have seen you draped in a beautiful Indian saree. And we were truly impressed with what we saw because it's become uncommon these days. On a lighter note, what's the thought process?
Kiran, I think given that we are all Indians and sari is a part of the culture, I think the question should be why we don't see more people in saris. But yeah, humor aside, I think it's just about being comfortable about who you are and carrying your full self wherever you go. It's a part of me. I am comfortable in the sari. I am comfortable in my skin, and I just thought, why not? Should this not reflected in the professional self as well? Ideally, it shouldn't matter. Your attire shouldn't matter. Ultimately, what matters, I think, is my thoughts, my beliefs, and my actions. But to answer your question, yes, there was a time where I think all of us tried to somehow fit in to the culture that we are getting into. And there was a time when I also tried fitting into the more of a global culture and a Western culture. I would say thanks to TCS, it has brought out a lot of Indianness in me, and the sari is a small part of it.
So TCS allowed you to be yourself. Awesome. That's a great response, Nalini, because a lot of people can take inspiration from it, especially the women. Nalini, which comes to my next question. You lead a huge competency of Salesforce and TCS, right? And you have grown in the ranks as a leader in the last 15 to 20 years. What are those very important leadership lessons you have learned along the way?
Oh, lots of them, Kiran, lots of them. If I were to put it very concisely, I think the belief that everybody who you meet, personally or professionally, is trying to figure out something, is trying to be successful. When you connect with people with that belief, with a positive curiosity to learn, right? Not curiosity to prove something or prove yourself right or judge somebody. I think that's a huge part of a leadership success that I feel, because technology or otherwise, end of the day, you're working with people. Everybody wants to be successful, and everybody wants to collaborate. So a large part of leadership, I feel, is learning wherever you are from whoever you're interacting with, and talking other person's language rather than just putting across your views, and genuinely partnering with them for things that matter to them most. I think that is the leadership lesson. And one of my earlier mentors also told me this, and it's been a huge learning. A big part of leadership is also knowing what to ignore. So there will be a lot of noise. You'll have to learn to stay focused, and you'll have to kind of devote your entire professional activity and day towards co-innovating with people, looking at something that is not symptomatic, right? Look at the root cause and see how you can come up with something that will solve the problem from a big picture perspective. What will solve the problem is what I think leadership is all about.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Nalini, for that. In fact, when I was talking to you the other day, you were talking about one of your women leaders who migrated the old systems to Salesforce. This was 12 years back, maybe 15 years back. And as a leader, you also need to have that vision, as you very clearly said. Thank you. Thank you so much for that, Nalini. And Nalini, TCS has this very interesting concept of equity versus equality, right? I found it to be very interesting when you talked to me about it the other day. You want to talk a little about it to our audience today?
Sure, Kiran, sure. Yeah, I think as the business and the technology is changing every minute today, and as new thought processes come, we call it the new normal, we are dealing with new challenges every day. I think what is important is leveraging the right skill and the right people for what they can bring to the table. And somewhere I feel that in the whole rush for equality, we sometimes make it a little unfair, because you get the feeling that you're trying to be uniform or standardize a few things in the name of equality. But what that does sometimes is kind of suppress some of the talents, suppress some of the inclusion and diversity that is very valuable when you have to be successful. So equity is all about leveraging people for the value add that and the creativity that they bring to the table, and not necessarily looking at everybody equally. So equal opportunity, a level playing field is definitely needed, but just equating, apples to oranges really doesn't make sense. You'll have to right skill and look at what can a person bring to the table, what can somebody do which I can't, and leverage that person for their capacity. So I think a lot more earlier leadership used to be certain authoritative position. Today I think everybody is a leader in their own right, because the way technology and especially IT field has contributed to this kind of an org structure is nobody gets paid to do somebody else's job. In the first few years of your career, I think it is about doing well at your field, being more efficient. But after maybe the first 2 or 3 years, it's all about being effective. It's all about how can you bring some creativity and you do your job and everybody does their job, and it all falls into place beautifully like a puzzle, and some very good synergies are generated. So I think equity plays a role in that, because you're not looking at everybody with the same lens.
Right. So everybody is a leader and there is no competition. That is what I take from your answer. Thank you. Thank you so much for that, Nalini. Nalini, what is that one advice or suggestion you want to give to the Salesforce developers community in India today, or Salesforce developers community in the whole world today?
Okay, I think first of all, if folks have made the choice of being in the Salesforce community, I think that's a very good decision, because the way Salesforce is growing and the amount of opportunity Salesforce developers have to make their mark and contribute to this whole ecosystem is huge. The fact that it's one of the most innovative companies, I think I wouldn't say advice, my suggestion would be that everybody show that hunger and thirst to explore more. They definitely should rest on their laurels of experience, but then it should only be utilized to show that they are quick at learning, rather than saying that since they have some experience, they know it all or they can replicate it for you. Salesforce is one technology where I think replication doesn't take you too far beyond maybe a year. With every new release, developers have the opportunity to master it, excel, and co-create the next solution. Secondly, I think Salesforce is one technology which really isn't hung up about a particular programming language or a particular syntax. So it's a huge advantage. I would urge developers to think less about code and just generating apps and think more about end-to-end business solutions and the kind of impact they're having on the customer's business.
Great advice. Thank you so much for that, Nalini. So, before you go, one tricky question. What are your strengths and weaknesses as a leader, Nalini?
I think both my strengths and weaknesses are in the fact that I'm very curious and I want to keep learning every day. I have this tendency to get into an ecosystem, learn, figure out, what the bottlenecks and challenges are, streamline it with a team. I've been very lucky to be blessed with amazing supervisors, amazing mentors, and a great team. So with that kind of, top-down layer taken care, I can freak out on learning new things, experimenting, streamlining
So you
things,
always
and
keep them.
moving to
You
the
always
next
keep them
challenge.
You always keep them on the edge, is it?
I do. I think that is one thing my team will complain about me. I push them outside their comfort zone. Of course, I support them with a lot of support and flexibility, but the day gets very unpredictable in terms of what's going to come today and what are we going to accomplish.
They will thank you one day. Don't worry about it. Nalini, thank you so much for being part of Dev Talkies today. It was such an inspiring conversation with you, and you are going to inspire a lot of people who are aspiring to be leaders in the ecosystem as well. Your thirst for learning new things stands out. Thank you so much for that. And we know that you love saris, which is why we are getting you a nice Bengal cotton sari.
Wow.
It would look totally great on you. So it's a small gesture from our side through Dev Talkies.
I am so thrilled and I'm so grateful for this opportunity. Thanks for having me, Kiran. You guys are doing a fantastic job in the Salesforce ecosystem. You are building a very resilient community, and these are some of the values that TCS also shares in terms of resilience and sustainability.
That's why we are both partners, Nalini. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
It's time for a quick technical tip.
It's tip time, and today we are going to talk about another concept from Lightning Web Components open source called routing. Routing is a concept that allows us to make sure single page applications behave like traditional web applications when it comes to navigation. So things like the URL should always indicate what the user is currently viewing, the browser back and forward button should work, and the user can directly navigate to a view with an appropriate URL, which is called deep linking. A typical example for this is Salesforce. It is a single page application, but the browser back and forward buttons work, and using a record URL you can directly go to the record view. So let's see how to implement routing. First, let's take a look at an app that I have built. I have a home page, and then I click on the products link and it shows me a list of products. After which I can click on a product and go to the product detail page. Notice the URL is still localhost 3001. It is because this is a single page application. So there is one index.html file which embeds the app component. And inside the app component, I've used Boolean variables to hide and show different views. So right now, from the product detail page, if I click on back, I don't go to products list. I directly exit the app and go to a blank page. This is where routing helps. Let's see how we can implement that. First, let's clean up all of these conditional statements so that we just have the components that we created. Next, we will be using a module called LWCE router, which is built by our engineering team. And a fun fact about it, it's also built using Lightning Web Components. So let's import this router components using the npm install command. Once the installation is successful, we are going to add this to LWC config JSON for module resolution. Next, we must add the LWCE router component to our code. This is the primary component that must wrap all the components that need routing to be applied. Now in our case, all of our components need routing. So we'll put all of our code inside this tag. Next, we need to define the routes, for which we are going to use the LWCE route component. It takes in an attribute called path, which can be a URL or a regular expression. It also takes in the exact attribute that denotes whether or not the URL has to be exactly matched. Now, other than the homepage, I created a route for the product list component and the product detail component. And the URL for product detail component is dynamic. And you can make a URL dynamic by using the colon symbol. This allows you to create unique URLs for each of your products, very similar to how Salesforce works. The next step, of course, is to access these dynamic values in our components. So we go to the component in which we need to access these dynamic values from the URL. Here it is the product detail component. And what we do first is import the route parameters via adapter and then wire it. We can then access the dynamic values from the URL from the params property. So here I'm going to use the product ID from the params property. Finally, we replace the standard anchor tags with the LWC link component, so that whenever you click on this link, this component makes sure it adds a new entry to the browser history so that the back and forward buttons work. With this, most of our work is done, but not completely. There are two more steps that we have to perform. First, make sure you're using synthetic shadow. Second, you need to update the public path for build from / to /, for which we are going to create a new webpack config file and then use this configuration in our build commands. Now let's build our project and see it in action. So here I am in the home page, and now I click the product list component. Notice the URL changes. Now I click on a product and notice the URL changes again. Now if I click the back button, I go to the product list. In a new tab, let me open the detail page directly. And you can see it shows me the exact product that I'm looking for. So this is how you implement routing. Hope this tip was helpful. And in case you have any topics in mind around which you'd like some tips on, please let us know and we are more than happy to deliver it for you.
We all dream, but is it easy to live the dream? You should be inspired, you should work hard, and you should be ready to make some sacrifices along the way. And most importantly, you should believe in yourself. The next guest in the Spotlight segment today is a dreamer and an achiever because he's living his dream. Let's welcome Joey Chan, founder of Cloud Jedi Solutions and a newly minted Salesforce MVP, for his extraordinary contribution to the Salesforce ecosystem. Kamusta ka, Joey?
Mabuti. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being on the show, Joey. It's a pleasure to have you here today. But that's all the Filipino I know. Next time we meet, I'm pretty sure we're going to talk. We talk in Filipino.
Yeah, no worries.
Joey, you have an inspiring journey. But before we get into that, take us a little through your childhood.
All right. When I was a little kid, I'm basically the youngest of there's actually 5 of us. So growing up, my parents are actually into business. They actually sell snack foods. So we actually see all of their hard work because the business is actually based at home. So every day I see all of the things that they do, and they actually involve me in terms of the things that I can do as a child, right? So I see a lot of the work firsthand.
So you started understanding the customer from a very young age, is it?
Yeah, pretty much. So handling stocks, inventory, and things like those. Yes.
So why is that, you wanted to start your own business?
Well, in the Philippines, growing up from a Chinese family, business is actually one of the things that they really help you learn throughout childhood and growing up. So I would say I'm groomed to want to have my own business in the future.
Basically, you wanted to do business for your personal growth.
Yes, pretty much, yes. To be able to control our destiny, I would say.
Got it. control your destiny. That's wonderful. Joey, so you've always wanted to get into business, but when was that realization point that you have to get into IT?
For me personally, during my childhood, it's really computer games that inspired me a lot to actually want to get into technology. So starting with family computer, PlayStation, and then later on online computer games, right? One of my dreams even back then in high school is actually to have my own computer shop, like where you could actually have a really fast internet connection, right? Back then, it was actually really expensive to have your own connection that's fast. So
I
that
remember the
was my
DSL
dream.
connections. I remember
Right.
them, the dial-up connections.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Joey. Is it I'm going to ask you this question. I was having a conversation with you the other day. So, is it true that you got married to your childhood crush, high school crush?
Yeah, pretty much, yes. So back then in high school, she's one of those definitely good girls. She actually obeyed her parents. She wasn't actually entertaining any suitors back then. So what happened is uh, during college, we weren't able to connect much. So it's only after college that we were able to reconnect. And then that actually started dating. And then from there, within
So
around
she
two
never
years,
looked
we
at you
got
in the
married.
college.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
During that time, she's probably just ignoring me though.
I understand how tough it is.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, Joey, you were talking about your high school as well, right? When was it that you got in touch with Salesforce as a technology, and when did you make the decision of that I should get into Salesforce ecosystem?
Right. It's actually back in college. So I was acting as a student group leader. So part of my role there is helping events for the IT group. So one of the things that I organized is there's actually an event where a company that's into Salesforce consulting had an event with that, and then part of that is actually teaching Salesforce administration as a part of a course. And then that got me into Salesforce admin, and then eventually later on, that's actually one of the first companies that I got into.
Awesome.
Eh,
And when was this, Joey? Which year was this?
Actually, that's around 2008. But then
2008.
during my graduation in 2009, I had this dream, right? Remember, I wanted to have my own business, and I had this goal. I wanted to have it within 5 years. I had these two options. Should I go with SAP or should I go with Salesforce? If I were to go with SAP, who would trust a 26-year-old with their whole system? Probably not much, right? So that's actually the reason why I chose Salesforce. It's mainly because, hey, there's so much I can do on my own. I can technically build the whole system for a business on my own, right? Because of the how flexible the platform is and the
It's built on the
capabilities.
cloud. What more do you
Yeah,
want?
pretty much. And I can all do it from anywhere, right? So that's one of the biggest benefits here.
Awesome. I think you made the right decision, which is why you're in this position today. But you know, what what were the things you did to learn Salesforce? Because 2008 was really early for
Right.
any Salesforce person to start off with. How did you learn Salesforce, and how tough was it?
Once I've decided that, hey, I want to go with Salesforce, basically, my main goal is, hey, I want to be an expert in this field. Much so, probably, I'm hoping to be world class in this specific field, right, that I've chosen. So, in order to do that, I won't be able to compete with others that have 3 years, 5 years experience, right? But what I can do is actually I can compensate by outlearning them as much as I can, right? So one of the things I did back then is there's actually an app called Google Reader. So it's a web app where you could actually subscribe to RSS feeds. So what I did is I tried to find all of the Salesforce related blogs, whether it's on the development or on the admin side. I would actually subscribe to each one of those and then back read all of their older posts in order for me to understand what the platform is capable of and then basically learn as much as I can, right?
Absolutely, Joey. You're such an inspiration, right? You've outlearned people around you through your hard work. I also got to know that you used to travel 4 hours every day to your work, and you use this time to go through Salesforce content. That is such an inspiration for a lot of aspiring people in the ecosystem. Joey, again, I know you got married and you were on an extended honeymoon for the last 4 years. You just love traveling with your wife. Talk us a little about that.
Yeah. So being in the working with the cloud in Salesforce, right? One of the biggest privileges is basically as long as you have a laptop and your internet connection, you can basically work from anywhere, right? So of course we took advantage of that. So like you said, we actually had our extended honeymoon. Um, Normally, whenever people get married, they usually will have one big honeymoon, right? But what we did instead, we actually divided it across multiple months. Actually, I believe we did it across a year. So all around each month, we were traveling to a different location, whether it's locally within the Philippines or internationally. So we actually did go to several countries within Asia, and we also went to Australia then. So
I
it's
know,
actually quite fun.
I know, I have to make this statement. Salesforce lets you live your life. You lucky couple.
Pretty much, yes. So it's definitely a big privilege, of course. Especially now, it's quite hard to travel, right? It's of course we're definitely looking forward to when the time the countries open up again, and then looking forward to traveling again, right?
Absolutely, and please stay safe, Joey. Which brings me to my next question, right? How did you get into the Salesforce community? Because you've given back to the community in a lot of ways. So just wanted to know your journey there as well.
Right. So during the start of my journey, I was trying to learn as much as I can about the Salesforce platform, right? Apart from the blogs, one of the best ways I actually accelerated my learning on my own is actually through the Answers community. So I actually see quite a lot of questions there coming from people that either starting out in their journey with Salesforce, or they were just tasked that, hey, somebody just gave this to me and I have no idea about Salesforce. And these are the type of people that need help, right? So whenever I see a question, I would look at it. Hey, can I answer this? If yes, I'll go ahead, right? If not, I'll then try to research, hey, what's the answer to this question? And then from there, I'd actually learn what the answer is and then answer it for them, right? A couple of things happen because of this. One is I'm actually learning in terms of how others use Salesforce. I'm learning in terms of all of the different possible intricacies that companies use Salesforce, right? So each company could be using it differently. And third one is I'm also learning things that I won't normally learn from within my job or my projects, right? So that really accelerated the learning a lot, and that helped me a lot in terms of knowing Salesforce much more.
Totally agree with that. Totally agree with that. And a lot of people benefited because of you as well. And thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
that. Joey, you own a company now, Cloud Jedi Solutions. What is that one advice you have for our Salesforce developers today?
I would say definitely continuous learning. Everybody in IT, when you stop learning, that's when you stagnate, and that's going to be a big problem, right? So every year, there's always that pre-releases by Salesforce. We, of course, have to keep up. Of course, not just that, we already have Trailhead, right? And there's so much more content now out there on the internet. If you're a visual, you could go to YouTube. There's so many out there that can help you learn. So I would say it's one of the biggest. And nowadays, especially with the pandemic, I would say one of the nice benefits or that it granted is if not most of the user groups are actually doing their events virtual. So there's nothing really stopping anyone from joining the user groups from around the world, right? I would recommend finding the calendar that shows you the different events around the world.
That's a great advice, Joey. And in terms of implementation, do you have any advice for our Salesforce developers?
I would say for developers, definitely making sure that you fully understand the governor limits. And there's actually a new website just recently launched a few months ago, architect.salesforce.com.
Absolutely.
This is where
it's a
you
very
would
valuable
understand.
website, yeah.
Yep. This is where you would understand all of the different pros and cons and what to consider whenever building your solution.
There you go, guys. The advice from Joey. Visit architects.salesforce.com and also take care of your governor limits.
Yeah.
Wonderful, Joey. Thank you so much for being part of Dev Talkies. It's been such a pleasure talking to you. And by the way, we know that you travel and you're also, a fitness freak. You're into CrossFit, which is why we thought we should present you the kettlebells, especially in times of pandemic. When you want to be fit and when you're a fitness freak, you would really love these things.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you for being part of Dev Talkies, Joey. Have a great day. Whoa! It's game show time. Let's see what Aditya has in store for us today with a guess.
Welcome to the game show segment. I'm your host Aditya, and before I introduce today's participants, let's congratulate Rupesh, Payal and SFMC Trailblazer, who were the winners from audience for the last month's game show. Give them a round of applause. So audience, those of you watching us live, please participate along with us, put in your guesses in the chat window, and we'll announce the winners in the next month's game show. With that, let me introduce today's participants, Nalini and Joey. Give them a round of applause. Okay, Nalini and Joey, welcome to the game show. Are you excited?
Absolutely, yes.
Pretty much.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay. Yeah, perfect. So today we are going to play a game which I call as Redacted, and the rules are pretty simple. Okay, so we are going to have 3 levels, and each level is going to have 2 questions, one for each participant. And each question is going to have 7 redacted answers like you see on the screen. So we show only the first letter of each word. Each answer might have multiple words, in which case, as you can see, the first letter of each word is shown while the remaining letters are hidden. Your job is to guess what those 7 answers are for each question. You get 30 seconds for that. So within 30 seconds, you'll have to try your best to guess those 7 answers, and you have unlimited number of guesses, so don't worry about that. And each answer that you correctly guess is going to give you 100, 300 or 500 points based on the level, which means in level 1 you get 100, 2 is 300 and level 3 is 500, because the questions are going to get a little bit difficult over the levels. Bonus points in case you clear the entire board, you're going to get 1,000 more along with the ones you have gotten for clearing the answers. And finally, let's say one of you hasn't been able to clear the board and a few answers are remaining. So your opponent is going to get a chance to answer those questions, and they are going to get the points for those answers. But one thing to remember is that whenever your opponent is answering, they don't have unlimited guesses. They can only guess the correct answer. Once they give a wrong answer, they're out. So that's pretty much it. Pretty simple game. Any questions so far?
No, we're good.
Okay, perfect. So let's now start level 1, where each answer is going to give you 100 points. And we are going to start with Nalini. So Nalini, here is your question. When you think about Salesforce, the first thing that comes to mind is, and I'm going to reveal 7 options now, and then I'm going to start your timer. So try and guess as many as possible. So your time starts now.
Trailheads?
No, it's not present here.
Cloud.
Okay, yes, one answer guessed.
Platform.
Perfect, two answers.
Trailblazer.
Perfect, three answers. And time is up. Okay, so Nalini, you have answered 3 into you get 100, which is 300 points. So Joey, now's your turn. If you are able to answer the remaining 4, you're going to get 400 points. But remember, one wrong answer and you're out.
Sure. One is CRM. And
Perfect.
then one is
Okay.
Smart Venue. And
Amazing.
then Ohana.
Okay. Marvelous.
Wow.
I have no idea what that is.
Okay, so you also have answered 3. You get 300 points. And the final answer is actually Salesforce Tower.
Okay.
Ah.
Okay, so now that you've gotten a hang of the game, both of you are tied, but then it is an advantage for Joey because now it is his turn. And Joey, your question is, what are the types of Salesforce APIs? And your time starts now.
REST. Bulk.
Okay.
And then metadata. Streaming. Composite. SOAP. Not sure. Hold on.
Okay, we are almost out of time and
Yep.
we are out of time. Okay, so you've answered 5. Now Nalini, your turn. If you're able to answer the remaining 2, you get 200.
No, I
Okay.
think he's answered the ones that I knew: REST, SOAP, and metadata.
Okay, so I'm going to reveal the answers now. So one, we have the Chatter API and the other one was tooling. So very well tried. So at the end of level 1, Nalini has 300 points and Joey is leading with 800 points. But you never know, in level 2 and 3 the tables might turn because the number of points is going to significantly increase. So let's move on now to level 2, where each answer is going to now give you 300 points and the questions are going to get a little bit difficult. So again, going to Nalini, standard profiles include the following. Your time starts now.
Salesforce administrator.
Okay,
System administrator.
it's actually
Okay.
system administrator, but still I'm going to give it to you.
Okay.
I didn't realize this question was this difficult.
It
but-
is. I think the last time I did a sales or a service cloud migration was like a decade ago. So it is.
Oh my god, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so
Joey
I
can
can't
give
you,
a go.
Yeah, I can't give you too long. You have 300 points. And Joey, do you want to give it a go?
Sure. So one is standard user. Yep. And then read only.
Okay. Joey's on a roll. Okay.
This one I'm not sure. Integration user.
I am still going to give it to you because when I was doing a dry run, people answered it as integration user, but the answer is identity user.
Yep.
Which is, it's okay.
Right.
Okay.
Chatter something. So
Okay. I
chatter.
can't give you too long.
Compliance user.
So
Yeah.
you have answered 3, but okay, so the answer is customer community user is 1, and then it is chatter free user, and finally you have solution manager. So these are the standard profiles. Like I said, the questions were a little bit difficult, but then level 3 is going to happen soon. Okay, so next, moving on to Joey. Your question is, what are the apps from the sample gallery? And your time starts now. Have you used the sample gallery?
Some. Dream House.
Okay.
Mm, events.
No. Okay.
Can't remember the others.
Okay. So yes, you're out of time, and I'm going to reveal. Nalini, do you want to take a shot?
No, I haven't used, but I can guess. I think Einstein something should be there.
No.
No? Okay.
So all of you audience watching us, I hope you were able to answer some of these because we've been talking about sample gallery quite extensively. So I'm going to reveal the answers. Hope some of you have already guessed them. So the first one is easy spaces. Next we have Apex recipes. Then of course most important one, LWC recipes. Then Visual Force to LWC recipes. Then the most recently launched sample app, it's AMP email demos, and it happens to be one of our first cross-cloud sample app, which includes Marketing Cloud. And finally we have eCars, which also deals with both Salesforce platform and Heroku. So these are cool apps to try out. So in case you haven't already visited them, please do visit. Okay, so at the end of level 2, Nalini has 600 points and Joey has 1700 points.
Wow.
But not to worry, in level 3, each answer is going to give you 500 points. So if you play a little bit carefully, you might possibly tie this game. So Nalini, all on to you. A few notable Salesforce acquisitions are, each answer is going to give you 500 points, and your time starts now.
Velocity.
Okay.
Slack.
No.
Tableau.
Okay.
Quip.
Okay. One of the M is quite easy.
Oh, I'm drawing a blank right now. I thought S should be Slack. Okay.
Okay, so you're out of time, but even then it is like 3 answers revealed, which is 1500 points. So right now you're leading. Joey, you want to take a stab at the remaining ones?
Yep. One is MuleSoft.
MuleSoft. Okay. Oh god.
Yep.
Like I said, one M was easy.
And then Exact Target.
Okay.
ServiceNow? I'm not sure.
Okay, no. So you lose your turn. The remaining 2 answers are Map Anything and Steel Brick.
Still great. Nice.
Okay, so Joey, you get 1000 points as a bonus. I think you have already beaten Nalini, but for the sake of completing the game, let's see if you're able to answer this. ES6 features include the following, and your time starts now.
Have no idea.
Okay, it turns out this level 3 is more difficult than I anticipated, but okay. We'll see if the audience were able to answer it. I'm looking at the chat, so let's see. Okay.
No.
Wow, okay. So
Can't think of it.
This is a difficult question then. So Nalini, any random guesses?
No, I think Joey won this hands down, and yeah, I'm happy to lose to him. He's a genius in the Salesforce arena.
But before I reveal the winner, so let me reveal the answers. So the first one is classes. Next is modules. Then we have promises. Then we have constants. Then we have block scope, arrow functions, and finally we have template literals. So these are the 7 ES6 features, and Yeah, it was sad that we were not able to get even one stricken off, but nevertheless, I'm hoping the audience were able to do this. So now let
the
me
pressure there.
tally the points. It's going to be, I think, 2100 for Nalini and then 2700 for Joey. With just 600 points, Joey leads, and Joey is the winner for episode 4's game show, that is Redacted. Okay, so with that, we are at the end of this segment, and I hope to see you next month with a brand new game show.
The game show gets really interesting with each and every episode. Thank you so much, Aditya. Keep it up. It's time for a quick tip.
Hello again, and it's tip time. Today I'm going to show you how you can write the scripts in SFDX. Scripts can combine a number of CLI commands into a single click execution. One of the common use cases can be automation of the installation process. Let's see how it works. Here I am in VS Code, where I have created a sample LWC project. It has a simple hello component. Let's start by creating an install script file. You can create it in the scripts folder. I prefer creating it in a bin folder as it is going to be an executable file. Let's name it install.sh. If you are using Windows, you may create a .ps or a .batch file. Let's now list down the steps that we want to automate. We'll first delete any existing scratch.org with the same name. Then we can create a scratch.org. We can push the source code. Finally, we want to navigate to a specific page in the browser. Okay, let's now add the commands. We can use a strategy here. Run the command in command palette and copy the command from the output panel. Let's start with delete from the output panel. Let's copy and paste the command to the script. We can also add the alias name of our scratch.org to it. Similarly, we'll add the command for default scratch.org creation. Let's add the command for pushing the source. Now we'll open the browser by clicking this button and open the sales homepage. Let's go back to VS Code and check the output panel and copy the command from there. Now I also want to automate navigate to the page, so I can use P option here for navigation URL path and copy the page location from the browser. Let's now save the file, and our script file is ready. We can now test it. But one second, if you are using Mac or Linux, we may have to make this an executable file. Let's go to the terminal tab and run this file. I can actually drag and drop it to the terminal. You can see that it deletes the scratch.org, creates a new scratch.org, pushes the code, and finally navigates to the respective page in the browser. You can now commit this code to GitHub so that others can easily install your application. You can actually write more complex script which can add the permission set and data as well. You can check any of the sample apps from the sample gallery. Let's check the LWC recipes app. I have already opened the code in another VS Code instance. Let's open the install scratch script and examine. It has a sequence of commands to delete the scratch.org, create the scratch.org, push the source, assign permission set, import sample data, and finally open the org. You can also notice that it is going to navigate to the hello component. Okay, let's now see how easily we can deploy the sample app and start working on it using this script. Here you can see the magic. It runs all the steps and navigates to the hello component page. Please let us know if you like the tip, and also let us know if you want a specific tip. We'll be more than happy to do it. Thank you.
If you want to go ahead and access the technical content which has been shared as part of the episode today, please click on this Trail Mix link and you will find everything there. Dev Talkies is your show, and we want to know how you feel about it. So please take this survey and let us know what is good and what can get better. Mental health is one of the most important things you need to take care of in these times. Don't just spend time. but spend time with yourself and your loved ones. Take a step back, reflect on things, appreciate and pat yourself for accomplishing so many things and surviving through these tough times. It's okay to not feel okay. Remember, it's okay to not feel okay. Ask for help. There are a lot of people ready to help you. Also remember one thing, we are still breathing and are still alive in this beautiful world, and that is what is important. On that note, stay safe, write code and do good. This is Kiran signing off with love.